Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much. So on to the next question. So as a woman pursuing a male-dominated field, do you mind sharing with us some of the struggles and obstacles you had to face?
I feel a bit lucky because, uh, coming from Hungary, it was at least accepted that girls went to school and went to science and so on. So in studying astronomy or studying sciences, I didn't have a problem. One thing, when I arrived into the United States and started to have opinion about things, that's where I noticed that I could say things and it kind of got ignored. You know, if you kind of just quietly said, I have a remark, that's just wasn't enough. I had to learn to be a little bit more assertive, maybe sometimes loud. And I learned that I have to repeat myself because if I don't repeat, somebody else will pick up, eventually remember what I said and will present that as their own idea. So that was it. Uh, I know that these days, these harassment problems are surfacing. I personally did not have problem with it, maybe because I could just ignore them or just was the attitude. I really never had that kind of problem. My problem really was to get my ideas out there and be taken seriously. Now, occasionally people were making jokes that why don't you make coffee for us? When I was at a meeting and I was the only young woman there, they were making jokes like that. Never had to make the coffee, but they did this kind of things. But I just decided to ignore it. So I personally feel like these kind of treatment I didn't really have much trouble with. It's really just I had to learn to be decisive if I had an opinion about something and not being afraid to repeat it, sometimes kind of even loudly. So if you have an idea and you think it has merit, even if it later turns out it's not perfect, you should be able to defend it and stand up for that idea because it could be excellent. And then if it's out there and it's accepted as yours and you're a woman, that will you will help the next one to be taken seriously.
Thank you so much. That was pretty inspiring. And now on to the next question. So, do you have any hobbies? And if so, what are they?
I have been doing Hungarian folk dancing in America for a long, long time now. It was much easier 30 years ago, but I'm still doing it. It's Hungarian folk dancing, and it is in a way interesting because folk dancing has its rules. Folk dancing has its figures, and that's what you're supposed to do when you are dancing it. Yet it's still kind of creating things because most of these dances are improvisational. And although it's usually the leader who figures out what you're going to do next. So for me, that was something which was really relaxing. I could just, turn my mind off and just concentrate on the dance and figure out what to do next in the dance and just enjoying the music and the company. So I'm still doing folk dancing, Hungarian folk dancing. And when I was young, meaning in high school, I really did like drawing and watercolor painting. And now that I have a bit more time, I would like to revive that and actually learn how to do that on iPad, doing it digitally. Now, when I was actually getting my PhD, I took 2 classes at UT in drawing. It was more still life, but it still was drawing. But I had to get special permission from my advisor that it will not interfere with my graduate work. But it was fun. So these are the things, yeah, dancing and drawing. These are the two things. And I love to travel, and I'm trying to do that now.
Mhm. On to the next question. So, if you could travel any place in the world, or maybe even out of this world, where would it be?
Oh, out of this world is really hard. It's really hard. Mars sounds interesting. Europa is interesting, but the interesting things are under the ice.
Mhm.
So, and I always just kind of loved to look at Saturn. I'd like to see that kind of closer. That's just the solar system. On Earth, I am interested in Antarctica. That's one. I am also very interested in going to the Galapagos, and I really, 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 really want to go up north. Or if I go to Antarctica, but that has to be in the winter, I'd love to see the Northern Lights. I have seen them once from the observatory because it was a very intense solar storm at the time, and I was there, but it was only the red colored because that's what's up highest. But I would like to see those classical northern lights, which look like these waving curtains and so on. So maybe Iceland or Canada.
Yeah, it's been a dream of mine to see the Northern Lights too, and me and my parents as well. And now on to the final question. So, is there anything you're looking forward to in the coming weeks?
Actually, summer is the busy time for me because that's when I'm doing the teaching for the undergraduates and the SEES interns are coming in. So I will start to work with this year's interns and assign them some simple problems which you had to do. And although they are something you can do with a pencil or a stick and your clock or watch, it's still something which is very basic for astronomers to find where you are on Earth. So I'm going to do this and looking forward to the results. And then I'm going out with the undergraduates to McDonald Observatory and observe on the 30-inch telescope and teaching them how to do surface photometry, or we will probably look for some asteroids. And because it has such a beautiful wide field, I can get an asteroid going through that field and we can look for the brightness variation of this asteroid, because from that we can actually figure out the rotation time. And if you have more observations, probably not going to happen this summer, you can actually kind of model the shape of an asteroid. So that's this observing run is basically what is the highlight of the next couple of months.
Okay, thank you so much. So those are all the questions I have. So thank you so much for agreeing to be on this interview. It was such a pleasure getting to know more about you and your story, and I just simply can't thank you enough.
Oh, you are welcome, Siddhi, and I admire your dedication to astronomy. I remember when we were working in person and then doing this little blog. It's kind of inspiring.
Thank
So good
you.
luck with it.
Thank you so much.